Hello there, very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I am Hashini Patirana. First up is a look at your headlines for tonight.
New authority to protect Central Highlands. President launches national program to rebuild disaster-damaged religious sites. Former First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa requests 2-week extension from investigators. Former Presidential Secretary Samaneka Nayaka named as a suspect in Ranil's case. CID launches operation to locate absconding suspect. FCID records over 7 hours of statements from ex-minister P. Harrison over dairy cow deal. 6 police officers suspended after being remanded for assaulting Catholic priest. Taking a look at those stories in detail now. President Andrukumara Dissanayake says that new legislation will be introduced to protect the ecosystems of the Central Highlands.
The national program titled Restoration of Religious Sites Damaged by the Cyclone Ditwa while Preserving Their Heritage was launched today. The program commenced with the reconstruction of the Sri Bodhirukarama Vihara at the Doragala Peacock Hill community, which was completely destroyed by the cyclone. All religious sites damaged by the disaster will be restored under this program while ensuring the protection of their archaeological value.
The issues we see in the Central Highlands have been clearly outlined in a recent Asian Development Bank assessment. The report compares the past, present and the possible future of the Central Highlands, showing that if current trends continue, the region will become nothing more than eroded rock. Many reservoirs in the area are also rapidly filling with sediment. The Central Highlands make up only 13.6% of the country's land area, yet they account for 76% of our rainfall. Soil layers at the mountain tops have thinned significantly, making them extremely vulnerable to landslides. Even small volumes of water are now enough to trigger soil movement. As a government, we cannot allow this destruction to continue. We have already decided to introduce a new law and establish a dedicated authority this year. This authority will oversee all activities in the Central Highlands, approve all planning and take strict legal action against any violations. A highly efficient administrative structure and a skilled restoration task force will be appointed to safeguard the Central Highlands for the future.
ඉතාමත් හොඳ කාර්යක්ෂම නිලධාරී යාන්ත්‍රණයක් තරුණ කණ්ඩායම බඳවගෙන නැවත සුවපත් කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය වන බලකායක් අපි හදමු.
Meanwhile, the president also addressed how transformational changes in education will be implemented.
ඊළඟ අපේ ග්‍රාමීය දුප්පත්භාවය තුරන් කිරීමේදී වැදගත්ම කාර්යයක් ලෙස අපි කල්පනා කරනවා.
The most important factor in eradicating rural poverty is education. We have a saying in our villages, if one child studies, the entire family rises. But there is a serious issue. Out of 320,000 children who enter grade 1, around 38,000 drop out before sitting for O-levels. Among prison inmates, around 74% have not studied beyond grade 10. Therefore, providing 13 years of mandatory education is the responsibility of the government. We have already piloted this in a school in Anuradhapura and will implement it in all schools. If a child fails to attend school, parents will receive an SMS. A divisional secretariat team will also be notified, and if a child is absent for several days, they must investigate and ensure the child returns to school. No child should leave school without completing 13 years of education.
එක දරුවෙක්වත් අවුරුදු 13 අධ්‍යාපනයෙන් තොරව පාසලෙන් එළියට වැටෙන්න බෑ. ඒක අපේ අපේක්ෂාව. මොකද මේ අධ්‍යාපනයේ දෙමව්පිය සම්බන්ධත් වෙන්න ඕන, දරුවෝ සම්බන්ධත් වෙන්න ඕන.
Parents must also support this educational reform. Recently on TV debates, you may have seen all sorts of drama, claims of overthrowing the Prime Minister, no confidence motions, fasting and many other theatrics. But when it comes to genuine education reform, even a small group of parents can obstruct progress. We will begin implementing the new curriculum for grade 1 on the 29th of this month. The reform for grade 6 will be pushed to next year. Our aim is to produce responsible, socially conscious, globally competent citizens who can uplift their families. But beyond that, we must restore healthy social relationships between police and citizens, public officials and the public, clergy and their congregations, teachers and students. These relationships have severely deteriorated, and rebuilding them is essential for rebuilding the country.
ග්‍රහණය කරන්නේ පොදු සංකල්ප. එහෙම දරුවෙක් අපිට අවශ්‍යයි. හැබැයි අපිට ඊට වඩා අවශ්‍යයි තමන්ගේ පවුල ගොඩ ගන්න දරුවෙක්.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's wife, Sirasa Rajapaksa, did not appear before the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division after informing that she was unable to appear today. She had been summoned at 9:30 a.m. to record a statement regarding the investigations into financial irregularities linked to the account operated under the name Sirasa.
Sirasa Rajapaksa, through legal counsel, notified the FCID requesting a period of 2 weeks. She has stated that she is unable to appear today due to personal reasons. The investigation into alleged financial irregularities related to the Sirasa account maintained during Mahinda Rajapaksa's presidency was initiated under the Yahapalana government. The Sirasa Savia account was opened at the Suduwala branch of a state bank as a joint account under the names Sirasa Rajapaksa and 2 others. The address listed for all 3 account holders was Carlton, Tangol. Sirasa Rajapaksa's national identity card number was recorded as 2222222V. An unusual entry, as the first 2 digits of old NIC cards typically correspond to the individual's year of birth. Her representatives later explained that the number recorded was actually her passport number. Responding to accusations that a fake ID number was used, they claimed it appeared to be a data entry error during the bank's computer system update. A series of suspicious transactions had taken place through this account, prompting a formal investigation during the Yahapalana administration. Although Sirasa Rajapaksa had been summoned to the FCID on the 1st June 2015, she did not appear. Police later stated that her statement was obtained at a secure location.
That world-famous Sirasa account has now been confirmed as a fake account. Shockingly, the mandate sheet for the account has gone missing from the bank. Isn't that unbelievable? An account was opened and the mandate sheet has disappeared. Who is responsible? We are investigating. Currently, transactions from this account have been suspended and the account balance stands at 43 million rupees. Who suspended it? We are looking into that as well. Secretary Sita Kalyani Disanayaka and Treasurer Nirosha Jivani deposited a total of 82,900,088 rupees into this account over 88 occasions and withdrew 39,015,656 rupees on 129 occasions. A fixed deposit of 10 million rupees has also been opened in the name of Sirasa at the same bank. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division is conducting the investigation into this account. However, it is currently set aside at the Attorney General's office. We want the country to know that this investigation is part of the mandate itself. We are restarting the investigations.
A serious allegation against the Sirasa Savia Foundation also surfaced during the investigation into the murder of rugby player Wasim Tajuddin. Regarding the murder, the Criminal Investigation Department reported to the court on the 20th September 2018 that a Defender vehicle with registration number WP KA0642 belonging to the Sirasa Savia Foundation had been used to abduct Wasim Tajuddin. After Gotabaya Rajapaksa came into power in 2019, all officers involved in the investigation, including Senior Superintendent of Police Shania Besekara, were transferred. On the 18th August 2019, the Attorney General's Department instructed the then acting IGP to halt all investigations into Tajuddin's murder. However, the Criminal Investigation Department has now resumed investigations into the case. The case filed against former President Ranil Wickremesinghe over allegations of using 16.6 million rupees in public funds for a private overseas trip is scheduled to be taken up again tomorrow. Former Presidential Secretary Samana Ekanayake has now also been named as a suspect in the case. Former President Wickremesinghe, who faces accusations of misusing public money for a personal foreign visit, is currently out on bail. According to police, the Criminal Investigation Department has already carried out an extensive investigation into the matter. As part of these inquiries, several officers travelled to the United Kingdom to record statements from multiple parties connected to the incident. In relation to these allegations, former Presidential Secretary Samana Ekanayaka has officially been named as a suspect, and the Attorney General has instructed the CID to produce him before court. The CID has begun efforts to arrest the former secretary based on these instructions. However, police stated that the suspect is not currently at his residence and that his mobile phone has also been switched off.
At today's cabinet media briefing, questions were raised over several individuals failing to appear before the police after being summoned to give statements.
දැන් අපි දකිනවා FCID මේ පරීක්ෂණ ආරම්භ කරලා තියෙන මොහොතක අද අපිට වාර්තා වෙනවා සති දෙකක කාලයක් ඉල්ලලා තියෙනවා ශිරාන්ති රාජපක්ෂ කටයුතු වලට පෙනී ඉන්නවා කියලා. අපිට මතකයක් තියෙනවා CID එක සහ FCID එක මීට කලින් පරීක්ෂණ කරද්දී හිටපු ජනාධිපති මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන කොහොමද හැසිරුනේ අධ්‍යක්ෂ ජනරාල්තුමී ඉවත් කරා. ඒ වගේම අර කිව්ව සමන්වයක නායක දැන් අපිට ආරංචි නීතිපතිවරයා උපදෙස් ලබා දී දෙනවා CID එකට හිටපු ජනාධිපති ලේකම්වරයාව අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමක් සිදු කරන්න කියන කාරණාව. නමුත් ඔහු හොයාගන්න නැහැ සුපුරුදු පරිදි අතුරුදන් පොලිස් කණ්ඩායම් සහ විමර්ශන කණ්ඩායම් ඔව්ව හොයනවා. මොකක් හරි සොෆ්ට් කෝනර් එකක් මේ පිරිසට ආණ්ඩුව විසින් ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා නැත්නම් එහෙම දෙයක් ලබා දෙන්න කියලා ඉල්ලීමක් කරලා තියෙනවා.
ඔබට පේනවා විමර්ශන කටයුතු සිදුවෙමින් පවතිනවා.
You can see that investigations into the Syria account are ongoing. Shiranti Rajapaksa was asked to appear today at 9:30 a.m. but she has requested 2 weeks. Yes, there are occasions when someone summoned by the FCID or CID or police may genuinely be unable to appear for a day or two. But here we are talking about the former First Lady of the country, the wife of a former president and the mother of Namal Rajapaksa, who remains politically active. Given this, it is her social responsibility not to evade the law, but to appear before the FCID and give her statement. It would also set an example for the school children of Carlton, showing respect for the law by facing it directly. She has had years to prepare with her lawyers. There is nothing new for her to suddenly get ready for. What remains now is simply for her to come. And give the statement. We expect that to happen. Regarding Saman Ekanayaka, we were asked about him as well. In connection with the case involving Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Attorney General has instructed the CID to proceed. We trust that Saman Ekanayaka and those representing him will extend their cooperation. Let's wait and see. The police and the CID are carrying out their duties. As for Namal Rajapaksa, based on the information revealed by Kehil Badra Padme, he was officially notified in writing to appear last Friday to give a statement, but he too requested a week's extension. In all these cases, if individuals truly respect the law, they should appear within the time given. If they fail to do so, legal action from the police will follow.
Comments were made regarding the controversy surrounding the Attorney General during the Cabinet press briefing.
අපිට ලැබුණු ජනවරමේ තිබෙන ප්‍රධානතම දෙයක් තමයි
One of the primary aspects of the mandate we received is to bring thieves, fraudsters and killers to justice. When the process of delivering that justice does not move at the speed the public expects, such opinions can emerge within the community. People expect indictments to be filed against these individuals and for legal proceedings to take place quickly. The expectations of the public and the government are the same. There is a certain opinion circulating within the general public regarding the removal of the Attorney General. However, the President does not have the power to simply remove the Attorney General. The procedure for removal in our country is governed by the Removal of Officers Act No. 5 of 2002. This Act outlines the legal steps for removing the Inspector General of Police and the Attorney General. This is a parliamentary process. It can only be achieved through an impeachment motion brought to Parliament. Just because we hold a power of 159 seats or a two-thirds majority in Parliament, the government will not act to implement these laws without reasonable justification. However, the government and state institutions must and do take into account the public opinion arising regarding these legal proceedings. The most important thing is, are these cases being expedited? We are focused on reaching the stage of filing indictments and working towards that. I must emphasize that the government is committed to that cause.
නේද අධිචෝදනා ගොනු කරන තැනකට ගෙනීම සහ ඒ වෙනුවෙන් කටයුතු කිරීමේ ඒ වෙනුවෙන් රජය කැප වෙන බව කියන්නට ඕන.
Former Minister P. Harrison appeared before the Financial Crimes Investigation Division today to provide a statement regarding the controversial import of dairy heifers.
Sri Lanka police stated that former Minister P. Harrison, who arrived at the FCID at around 9:30 am, left the premises approximately 4:15 pm. According to police, a statement was recorded from former Minister P. Harrison in connection with the ongoing investigation into the importation of dairy heifers from Australia during the period 2012 to 2017. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division has also recorded statements on several occasions from former Ministry Secretary Renuka Ekanayake regarding this investigation. It has been revealed during further inquiries that in 2018, an advance payment of $11.7 million from a loan obtained from a Dutch bank to purchase 15,000 pregnant dairy heifers was made to an Australian company. However, police said that none of the 15,000 heifers have been imported to Sri Lanka to date. The CID had previously questioned former Ministry Secretary Renuka Ekanayake in her capacity as the former Secretary to the Ministry of Livestock and Rural Economic Affairs at the time of the transaction. Investigations have also uncovered that although the loan obtained from the Netherlands was paid to the Australian company, the 15,000 dairy heifers were never delivered. Despite this, it has been revealed that the loan taken from the Netherlands has already been fully repaid using public funds. The Colombo High Court today ordered that the further examination of evidence in the case filed against former Minister Anura Priyadarshana and 6 other accused to be taken up again on the 18th of February. The case has been filed over several allegations, including the misuse of state funds. The matter was called today before the Colombo High Court Judge Udesh Ranatunga. During today's proceedings, the testimony of witnesses for the prosecution was formally recorded. The Attorney General has filed 5 charges against former Minister Anura Priyadarshana, who served as the subject minister at the time, his wife and 6 other accused over allegations of misusing around 6 million rupees belonging to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. According to the indictment, the funds were allegedly spent illegally under the guise of providing quote-unquote false relief assistance during the period from December 26, 2014 to 26th of January 2015.
The Court of Appeal today issued a series of orders when a writ petition filed by Dr. Uma Suki Nadaraja, a resident of Jaffna, concerning the ongoing environmental crisis in the region was taken up in court.
The case was taken up before a bench headed by the President of Court of Appeal. The petitioner alleges that the state authorities, specifically the Jaffna Municipal Council and the Central Environmental Authority, have failed to fulfill their statutory and constitutional duties in managing waste disposal. The petitioner submitted to the court that inadequate waste management has led to the mass burning of garbage across Jaffna and that this practice has resulted in large-scale air pollution, posing significant health risks to the residents. The petitioner submitted that the relevant state institutions have neglected their legal obligations to maintain environmental standards. Counsel for the petitioner, Dr. Ravindranath Dabare, said that the Court of Appeal today ordered the Jaffna Municipal Council and the Central Environmental Authority to submit a comprehensive written report via a motion detailing their current waste collection procedures and the specific measures already implemented to address the issue. The CEA was further ordered to outline proposed and ongoing strategies to minimize air pollution and optimize waste management. The case is scheduled to be taken up for further hearing on the 24th of March.
News First with the people.
For safety items, b2b.lk.
Welcome back to the news. India and Sri Lanka are stepping confidently into a new chapter of partnership, one defined by trust, shared aspirations and a forward-looking vision for development, security and connectivity. Speaking on the deepening ties between the two nations, Santosh Jha, High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, emphasized that Sri Lanka holds a special and enduring place in India's foreign policy framework.
I'm here at the India House where a special reception is held to celebrate the 77th Republic Day of India. Now this event brought together political leaders, former politicians, ambassadors, diplomats and many delegates from various sectors across Sri Lanka. Now this event did not just mark the 77th anniversary of the Republic Day, but also they celebrated the bond and the friendship between Sri Lanka and India, which was a beautiful evening. Reporting to you from the India House, I'm Viniji Senvaratna for the Newsfirst team.
India's 77th Republic Day was celebrated in Colombo on Monday with the presence of the country's diplomatic community. The event was held under the patronage of Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa and was attended by several prominent political leaders including Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, former Presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena, along with members of parliament from both the government and the opposition.
Friends, Sri Lanka has a special place in this foreign policy vision. Our unbreakable bond is underpinned by our civilizational linkages and geographical proximity. Today, we enjoy exceptional levels of trust, goodwill, and friendship, not just between leaders, but also between our peoples. India-Sri Lanka relations have emerged as a global model for cooperative partnership between neighbors. The visit of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to Sri Lanka in April 2025 and earlier by President Anura Kumara Dissanayake to India in December 2024 has charted an ambitious roadmap for this partnership. Physical, digital, and energy connectivity are agreed as key pillars of this partnership. Shared aspirations for development and shared commitment to security have emerged as key goals. Over the last year, we have worked strenuously to realize these shared objectives. Digitization is a key focus of our partnership. Sri Lanka's digitization journey is poised for a takeoff with progress in implementation of Sri Lanka Unique Digital Identity Project. This will enable unfolding the entire stack of digital public infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's aspiration to build a cashless system is supported by the introduction of UPI payment systems in Sri Lanka in 2024. We are also working towards making our partnership future ready.
As Sri Lanka stands at a pivotal moment in its national journey, we attach great importance to further strengthening economic cooperation, enhancing people-to-people exchanges, and advancing regional and global collaboration. We view India as a key and trusted partner in our efforts towards sustainable growth, stability, and development. Sri Lanka recognizes India's impressive economic progress across multiple sectors and its role as a growth pole in the region. We believe that India's continued economic expansion and technological advancement will complement Sri Lanka's recovery and rebuilding efforts. Sri Lanka's tourism sector has rebounded following Cyclone Ditwa, and all tourist attractions are now fully operational. India remains the largest source of tourists to Sri Lanka. As littoral states of the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka and India share a collective responsibility to promote peace, stability, security, and sustainable development in the region. The strength of the Sri Lanka-India partnership lies in our collective action and shared commitment to addressing emerging challenges, whether in disaster resilience, environmental protection, maritime security, or inclusive economic growth. Sri Lanka remains firmly committed to deepening its cooperation with India to harness the opportunities of the 21st century for the benefit of present and future generations. As we continue along this shared path, may the bonds of friendship between our two countries grow ever stronger.
During the event, the books Civilizational Twins, Timeless Traditions, Eternal Bonds Between India and Sri Lanka and Ramayana in Sri Lanka were officially released, highlighting the deep historical and cultural ties between the two nations. The evening was marked by warm well-wishes, strengthened diplomatic ties and vibrant cultural music, reflecting the enduring friendship between Sri Lanka and India.
Sri Lanka must not add risk again while rebuilding from disasters and crises. This urgent message was delivered by Azusa Kubota, United Nations Development Programme or the UNDP resident representative in Sri Lanka.
Azusa Kubota, United Nations Development Programme resident representative in Sri Lanka, noted that recovery must be used as a decisive moment to strengthen systems, protect livelihoods and break the cycle of vulnerability that continues to push families into poverty.
With nearly 4/5 of our population still living in rural areas in Sri Lanka, many depend on climate-sensitive livelihoods. Vulnerability in Sri Lanka remains deeply structural. And we are no longer dealing with isolated shocks. We are facing a new and more complex risk landscape. And Cyclone Ditwa was not an anomaly. It is a reminder that climate extremes are becoming more frequent globally, certainly here in Sri Lanka, more severe and more costly, especially for the poorest and most vulnerable families, which are on the verge of easily falling into the cycle of poverty. These disasters destroy livelihoods, destroy education, health services and disrupt them, deepen household debt and push families back into poverty. So it has intergenerational impact, often undoing years of development gains in the blink of an eye. And therefore, our recovery efforts must be centered around building resilience against any future shocks, be it economical or climate-induced. Shocks are there. So the question is, how do we mitigate and reduce these shocks? That is the concept coined as building back better, or BBB. So now let me unpack the concept of building back better, or BBB. Smart recovery is important, particularly in Sri Lanka's post-economic crisis context, where physical space is constrained and every investment choice must be deliberate and risk-informed. And we cannot afford to rebuild the same risks back into our systems. Resilience must be embedded into development planning, budgeting, and service delivery. And recovery is not just about restoring what was damaged and lost. It is a unique opportunity to build back better, strengthening systems, livelihoods, and institutions for the future. And an opportunity to reset the button and investigate and act upon risk-informed investments.
The Center for Poverty Analysis, in collaboration with the Center for Environmental Studies and Sustainable Development and the Open University of Sri Lanka, hosted the 35th guest lecture under the topic Facing the Future, Environmental Disaster and Poverty in Sri Lanka. The event also featured a panel discussion on the topic, featuring several key figures including Krishan Balendra, Dr. Herath Gunatilaka, Professor Sirimala Beratna, Professor Jagat Munasinghe and Kusala Mahalekama.
Wife of Prageet Eknaligoda, Sandhya Eknaligoda, says that legal proceedings to punish the suspects involved in the disappearance of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda must be expedited.
A program to seek justice marking the 16th anniversary of the disappearance of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda was held in Colombo today. Sandhya Eknaligoda, the wife of Prageet Eknaligoda, and several others participated in the event.
It has been 16 years since Prageet Eknaligoda disappeared. No one has been arrested regarding his disappearance. There is now clear evidence as to how it happened. Therefore, we urge that those responsible will be brought before the court immediately without acting in the same manner as the several previous governments that preceded this one.
මට ඉල්ලන්න තියෙන්නේ රජයෙන් මේ අවුරුද්ද ඉවර වෙන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේ
What I have to ask the government is to conclude the ongoing cases before this year ends. To achieve that, you can direct the Permanent High Court at trial at bar to hear the cases 3 days a week, hear the cases and conclude them. That is my request. Appoint the necessary judges because there is a shortage of judges at the moment. There are so many people on this earth who have been denied justice. My request is to make this the year that justice is served for all these people.
ඕන තරම් ඉන්නවා මේ සියලුම දෙනාට යුක්තිය ඉෂ්ට කිරීමේ අවුරුද්ද කරන්න මේ කියන එක තමයි මම ඉල්ලන්නේ.
The second phase of the LOLC Divisavia You Me Our Nation social welfare initiative was carried out for the 24th consecutive day, focusing on the districts of Kandy, Badulla and Kurunegala.
The LOLC Divisavia You, Me, Our Nation program consists of 3 phases. Under the first phase, essential dry rations and necessary supplies were distributed for 10 days to families whose homes were completely destroyed by the cyclone Titwa. The second phase was launched with the objective of repairing 200 damaged schools. This phase will be implemented over the next few days across 6 districts in 3 provinces. Reconstructed buildings at Sivananda Tamil Mahavidyalaya in the Kandy district and Tuppitiya Mahavidyalaya in the Badulla district, which were damaged by the disaster, were handed over to students this morning. Similarly, a newly restored building at the Boyagani Vidyalaya in the Kurunegala district was also handed over to students this morning. Reconstructed buildings at the Vallava Mahavidyalaya in the Kurunegala district and Maspanna Mahavidyalaya in the Badulla district were handed over to students this afternoon. Meanwhile, the reconstructed building of the Kolabissa Primary School in the Kandy district was officially handed over students this afternoon. The LOLC Divisavia social welfare program is truly for our people.
The European Union and India have announced a landmark trade deal after nearly 2 decades of on and off talks as both sides aim to deepen ties amid tensions with the United States.
A major shift in global and regional trade dynamics has taken place with the conclusion of the European Union-India Free Trade Agreement on 27th of January 2026, marking the end of negotiations that were formally relaunched nearly 4 years ago. After years of intensive engagement, discussions on the Free Trade Agreement have now reached a successful conclusion, setting the stage for a transformative economic cooperation between one of the world's largest economic unions and its most popular nation. What the Free Trade Agreement delivers. At its core, the EU-India Free Trade Agreement offers privileged access for European exporters to India's vast market of 1.45 billion people, the largest population in the world. The agreement is expected to potentially double EU goods exported to India by 2032, fundamentally reshaping trade flows between the two partners. A central feature of the deal is the elimination or reduction of tariffs on more than 96% of EU goods exports to India. This includes the removal or lowering of previously prohibitive tariffs on key European agri-food products such as wine, olive oil, chocolate and pastries. Collectively, these tariff concessions are projected to save approximately 4 billion euros every year in duties on European products, enhancing competitiveness for EU exporters and increasing product choice for Indian consumers. Alongside the FTA, negotiations continue on dedicated investment protection agreement designed to create a predictable, secure and balanced investment environment for investors on both sides. In addition, the agreement seeks to establish a state-of-the-art dispute settlement mechanism, ensuring that investment rules are enforceable and transparent, an important signal for long-term investors operating across borders.
Warning that the rule of law is being replaced by the law of the jungle. The United Nations Secretary General urged world powers to recommit to international law as the foundation of peace, justice and multilateral cooperation. Antonio Guterres was addressing a high-level open debate of the UN Security Council convened by Somalia, which holds the Council presidency for January.
The founders of this organization understood that global problems can only be solved by wielding not the weapons of war, but instead the tools of diplomacy, supported by a system based on international law. By dialogue, not the zero-sum rhetoric of division, and by collaboration, not geopolitical competition. In 2024, Member States adopted the Pact for the Future, which included a commitment to act in accordance with international law and fulfill obligations in good faith. But words are not being matched with action. Around the world, the rule of law is replaced by the law of the jungle. We see flagrant violations of international law and brazen disregard for the UN Charter. From Gaza to Ukraine and around the world, the rule of law is being treated as an à la carte menu. We see states flouting the rule of law with impunity through the illegal use of force, the targeting of civilian infrastructure, human rights violations and abuses, the illegal development of nuclear weapons, unconstitutional changes of government, and denial of life-saving humanitarian aid.
We must continue to promote the use of fair, independent judicial proceedings.
French lawmakers have passed a bill that would ban social media use by under 15s, a move championed by President Emmanuel Macron as a way to protect children from excessive screen time.
The French Lower National Assembly adopted the text to ban social media use by under 15s by a vote of 130 to 21 in lengthy overnight session from Monday to Tuesday. It will now go to the Senate, France's upper house, ahead of becoming law. Macron hailed the vote as a major step to protect French children and teenagers in a post on X. The legislation, which also provides for a ban on mobile phones in high schools, would make France the second country to take such a step following Australia's ban for under 16s in December. As social media has grown, so has concern that too much screen time is harming child development and contributing to mental health problems. Authorities want the measures to be enforced from the start of the 2026 school year for new accounts.
A major heat wave across Australia's southeast stoked bushfires, forced hundreds of residents in rural towns to evacuate and brought record-breaking temperatures, with Melbourne recording the hottest day in nearly 17 years.
Temperatures in parts of Melbourne, the capital city of Australia's second most populous state of Victoria, exceeded 45 degrees Celsius. According to preliminary data from Australia's Bureau of Meteorology, towns in Victoria's northwest Mallee region also reached a high of 48.9 degrees Celsius, breaking the state record. The heat wave, the worst since 2009 Black Saturday bushfires that killed 173 people in Victoria, raised the fire danger in some parts of the state to extreme. Many communities are still recovering from large bushfires at the start of the month, also triggered by a severe heat wave. The Chief Fire Officer of Forest Fire Management of Victoria said 6 major fires were burning, with 3 out of control. He said a fast-moving blaze in the Otways region, burning about 10,000 hectares and destroying at least 3 properties.
Sri Lanka Rugby has strengthened its premier domestic competition with a major media boost, announcing that Yes FM and Sirasa TV have officially joined the ongoing League Rugby Championship as co-sponsors.
9 teams will compete in this year's Inter-Club Rugby League tournament. The participating teams are CRNFC, Kandy, CHNFC, Havelock, Air Force, Police, Army, Navy and Sri Lions. The preliminary round matches have now concluded, and from this weekend onwards, the Cup and Plate rounds will commence. The teams that have qualified for the Cup round are CRNFC, Kandy, CHNFC and Havelock. The Maharaja Media Network has served as the media sponsor for several major rugby tournaments, including the 2025 Asian Sevens Series.
Sri Lanka is chasing a mammoth 358 runs for a win in their third ODI against England in Colombo. Sri Lanka were 283 runs for the loss of 8 wickets a short while ago.
England won the toss and elected to bat first. After getting off to a rocky start, Root anchored England with a run-a-ball century. Brooks' 136 runs off 66 balls powered England to 357 for 3. Jacob Bethel put up 65 runs in 72 deliveries. Coming into chase down a target of 358 for a win, Pathum Nissanka and Kamil Mishara got off to a fast start. However, Overton's 2-wicket haul stalled Sri Lanka after a fast start. Pathum Nissanka was dismissed for 50 off 25 balls, while Kamil Mishara was dismissed for 22 runs.
The Maharaja Institute of Management, in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Development Journalist Forum and the Minority Rights Group, held the inaugural certificate awarding ceremony for the country's first certificate course in media rights and minority rights.
The Maharaja Institute of Management, in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Development Journalist Forum and the Minority Rights Group, held the inaugural certificate awarding ceremony for the country's first certificate course in media rights and minority rights. The program marked a significant milestone in strengthening ethical, inclusive and rights-based journalism in Sri Lanka. The event was attended by Azad Mustafa, Program Director of SDJF, Dr. Darshana Ashokakumar, Co-Chairperson of SDJF, and Vaishnavi Manogaran, Sri Lanka Coordinator of the Minority Rights Group. Members of the Capital Maharaja Group Management, senior academics, program graduates, along with their families and loved ones were also present. Dr. Darshana Ashokakumar, the Co-Chairperson of SDJF, highlighted the importance of minority media in strengthening democracy and journalism.
This is not merely an awarding ceremony. It is a moment of recognition of learning journeys completed and skills strengthened and voices empowered that we all expect out of this brand of fellowship programs. Each certificate and trophy we present today represents months of dedication, perseverance and a deeply commitment to ethical and inclusive journalism. That journalism plays a vital role in safeguarding democracy, promoting pluralism and ensuring accountability.
Chetan Aliyanage, the CEO, Maharaja Institute of Management, said that the course was designed with a balanced structure, combining theoretical knowledge with practical exposure, including industry interaction.
This is a significant milestone, not only for MIM, but also for SLDJ, the Sri Lanka Development Journalist Forum, because for MIM, this is the first certificate course in media rights and media ethics and minority rights. I'm sure that this program would have been one of the greatest achievements of all these students who are receiving the certificates today, because it was not only theory, you got an opportunity to work with industry experts. So that is the most important thing, because theory and concepts, of course, you can learn at any given time. But working with the industry experts, that's where we add value. Through my experience as a person who has been in the industry, media industry, electronic media for a couple of decades, I'm requesting you to consider this as your stepping stone. Because this media industry, I mean, there are a lot of things that you need to learn, but aim high, because you have to aim to be ethical, professional and impactful media personalities.
In addition to the certificate presentation, the program also featured panel discussions on media responsibility, minority rights and inclusive journalism, offering practical insights and diverse perspectives from senior academics and experienced media professionals.
Sirasa, a new era of university music entertainment, was launched today. Sirasa ushers in a brand new electrifying musical experience crafted exclusively for the vibrant music-loving university community. Its debut showcase is taking place at the Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. The iconic Pani Bharata Open Air Theatre is gearing up to host this very first edition, with every element fine-tuned for an unforgettable evening under the stars. A stellar lineup of celebrated young artists is taking place at the stage. Mihindu Arya Ratna, Sunira Sumanga, Midori Karunaratna, Muru Somaratna, Ashka Kulatunga and Siumini Upayangi, all coming together for the inaugural Sirasa concert.
And with that, we wrap up Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.